Hi, I'm Celeste and welcome to Find Your Purple. I'm doing a repeat today because at church today the sermon covered the power of words. And I talked about that earlier in the week. And again, it's not the power of the word, which is the Bible. It's the power of words in general, the words we speak. And I just thought since I talked about it earlier this week, I would just do an add-on today to kind of add a few things that came up at church. And we're in the book of James. And I mentioned earlier, James is considered the how-to manual for Christianity. And he talks about the power of the tongue. And they said the problem people have is that they'll come to church, they'll sing praise, and then they'll leave church and head down the highway and start cussing at someone who cuts them off. Or they'll yell at their kids, or they'll use that same tongue to be rude to the waitress when they go out to eat afterward. And really, the truth of their heart is not the praising of God and the church. The truth is what's coming out afterward. And you've seen celebrities who get caught with saying something when they're drunk or angry or something, and they'll say, well, that really wasn't me. That's not who I am. But I think you can argue it all day long, but sometimes I guess not sometimes, that's really who you are inside, and you need to work on that. And you can pray, and God can help you get a new heart. But the ugly things that come out is there. If it comes out, it was there. It had to be there to come out. And so it's really understanding what your heart is. And he gave a visual which was really effective. It was a big clear tube, and he filled it with orange ping pong balls. And that was to represent all the negative stuff you hear that you're feeding your body, whether it's reading comments or even writing comments on Facebook or YouTube, or being angry about maybe politics or something, or you're watching TV and movies that are really negative, and you're putting all this negative stuff in your body, or listening to gossip or participating in gossip. And at some point that's full of all these orange ping pong balls. And then the only way to get rid of that is starting to fill it with God's Word. Reading of the Bible, praying, praising God, reading inspirational books. And you're trying to fill that space up. And as you fill it up with the water, the ping pong balls would raise up and start spilling over. And the more you fed it, the more spilled over, until eventually the glass jar was full of water and no ping pong balls. And then if you tossed a ping pong ball in, there wasn't room for it because it was already full of God. And I think that's kind of what we have to do in life, because how you talk, again, the words you use, whether you're talking about people, whether you're cussing at people, whether you're talking about your health, complaining about your marriage, complaining about how problematic the kids are, all of that is taken back in. You say it, but that reinforces your brain. And it's proven people can talk themselves into illness or continuing illness. They're going to get the flu, of course they'll get the flu. They're going to get allergies, of course they're going to get allergies. You really have some impact on your life with your words. And so I thought that was kind of an important reiteration today. And he said, the tongue is the rudder of your life. So how your tongue goes will lead your life in many ways. So we need to stop and listen to our tongue. And there's an awful lot in the Bible, both Old and New Testament, where God reiterates the power of the tongue. I guess it's like when they talk about a fig tree won't grow grapes, or won't grow, a bramble bush won't grow figs. However all those phrases work, it's true that if you have a good heart, it won't breed bad words and bad language and bad behavior in that sense. He basically gave a few things that the tongue can destroy your world. So again, think of the people on TV who have gotten caught saying something and they can't backpedal. It's out there. And in today's world with video and all of that, it's out there forever. And you've seen how it comes back to haunt somebody what they said 20 years ago. Not to say that that was right at any point in time, but people do change, and sometimes you're caught with something that plays over and over again of what you said when you were young or not so young. So words can destroy your world, and they can destroy other people's worlds. How many bullies destroy kids' lives or people's lives? The other point was your tongue reveals the real you. It reveals your heart. So if you're saying it, it had to be in there to come out. No matter what you say, that, I didn't think like that. Well, obviously you did, or it wouldn't have come out. So if that's in there, you've got some work to do to get it out. If you're singing praise one minute and then you're cussing at a waitress the next, or cussing at traffic, or being rude to people, well, that's the truth. You can ask God to give you a new heart, and you can pray about it, and it can happen. But you need to at least acknowledge first what's there. So he said, be quick to listen, but slow to speak. We're awfully quick sometimes to rattle off something or react to something, or even before a person's done, we're responding to them. So it's be quick to listen, be slow to speak, and then slow to show anger. So I think if people just stop and listen, it might go a long way to solve a lot of the problems. So again, quick to listen, slow to speak, and slower to anger. So again, the bottom line of the message was the tongue is the rudder of your life. And it's whether it's in New Age or Christianity, I think all will agree that the power of the spoken word is huge. And I think, again, the phrase I mentioned earlier that Pastor Brent said was, the tongue is the rudder of your life. So if your rudder is steering you the wrong way, that's where your life's going to go. If the rudder's steering you to how bad your life is, how bad your health is, how bad your marriage is, how bad your kids are, chances are down the road you're going to see that big ship veering in that direction. So you've got to stop and start giving it positive, about how strong your faith is and how much you love your spouse. And you had some rough times, but God is helping you through it. And, you just have to be aware of your words, both for your sake and for the sake of those around you. So that was the second message of the day. As always, grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.